Hello, everybody. This is the first podcast for champagneandlockerroom.com.
Yes, sir. Numero
And
uno.
yes, and today's topic is going to be about the NBA draft that just happened last week and a free agency primer,
Ooh,
to get everybody up and ready for July 1st, which is Christmas Day for us basketball fans. you know. So uh, I am Diego Johnson, HNIC of CITLR.com, and I have the one and only, the great one, my man Scotty, aka Jay Jones, in the building.
what's good?
What's up, Slim?
Ain't nothing, man. Just chilling. Man. How you?
Man, I'm chilling, man, trying to get this thing done, man. Just to see what it's like. It's the first time we did a podcast and not been, in the same room.
I know, right?
I'm in the comforts of my bedroom, leaning up against the wall. So,
You look real comfortable, dog.
man, I'm trying to. I got my slippers on in the bed and everything. But
Oh, you can't have slippers in the bed, man.
man, I know. Let's just make it happen, man.
Let's get it.
All right. So, where we want to start off first? Do we want to start off about this past draft, or do we want to start with the free agency? Well, maybe let's start. Matter of fact, let's start off with the draft, because the draft and the things that we saw going on with the draft is going to lead on to free agency.
I'm pretty sure I already know what you think, but yeah, let's start with the draft.
All right. Well, we all know that Ben Simmons went number 1 overall. Small forward, do it all type small forward, hybrid point forward from Australia. Did his 1-year internship at LSU where he was.
Is it a year?
Barely.
Was it even a whole year?
Yeah, it was 3 months, it seemed, and poorly coached too as well. And it's funny. No one ever talks about that with these one and done guys.
Mm-hmm.
How is that going to affect him going into the league next year? Because he didn't really get great coaching at all.
That's a good.
This may be the first litmus test of what a year of coaching can do for a player.
Right. So it's funny you say that, because that's always the cool thing about your man Calipari.
Right.
So
underrated coach.
Underrated as a coach and teacher of the game. And I agree. I think this is the first time where a guy who's a one and done guy will come into the league, and I think it's possible people may point to his lack of coaching during that 1 year in college, right. To point to some of his flaws. But I'll say this, just from what we know about Ben Simmons, seeing him in some of the All-Star games and some of the footage, and of course the clips. Everybody looks great in clips, but
yes,
just watching some of the game. But watching some of the game footage I've seen of him, before, he was pretty much who he was before he got to LSU.
Right.
I don't know if there's anything, and I agree, because I think there's more talent on that LSU team than people realize.
Yes, they had another McDonald's American on that team.
Tim Hightower's a pro. Tim Hightower may be a pro. Blakeney's probably a pro.
Solid guy. Both
of those guys are solid, man. But they just weren't able to put it together, and there's no reason that team couldn't compete. In a SEC that was a little weak this year.
Yes, trust me, I'm a Kentucky fan, and I'll admit
you know that
they should have easily won. Well, did they win their division? No, because they're in our division. So, because we didn't even win our division, Vanderbilt won it.
Right, Vanderbilt.
We've tied with Vanderbilt.
Right,
but yeah,
we'll get to Vanderbilt when we talk about some of their draft prospects a little later.
Right.
But yeah, I think so. Watching Ben. Shout out to my AC that just kicked in. But watching Ben, man, I think he was who he was before he got to LSU. I don't know if there's anything that that 6 months really in the college environment was really going to do one way or the other for him.
Right.
I think what's really going to happen, where you're really going to see him blossom, it isn't even necessarily his playmaking and his court sense, because he's already got that stuff. I want to see him in a pro weight program. I want to see how much more bouncier he gets.
Yeah.
Maybe how much more athletic, how much stronger he gets, because he's already a good size. It's 6'10", 240. That's all
right.
He's not real thin like Ingram.
Right. Didn't he average 10 boards last year?
Yeah. So he can rebound. He rebounds his position. We already know that.
That may be one of the things you were talking about, how bouncy he is. I was thinking more bouncy for rebounding purposes, more than, he's 6'9", 6'10", so he could be able to go to the rim,
right.
Go up on anybody, I think he is a different type of finisher. He finishes in a lot of different ways in the post, and I love that about him. That's
underrated.
One of the first. That was one of the first things I noticed when I watched him play. I was like, he's going to have to be able to finish in different ways, and he did show that last year. And everybody keeps harking on, he doesn't have a jumper. He doesn't have a jumper. And that's cool. We all know that. And we all know how the NBA is right now. Right now, it's all perimeter driven. But I think it being perimeter driven helps him out, because he has what they call the passing G.
He does have,
he'll be able to get by most players at his position, whoever's guarding him. That was one of the things that I noticed in college. Nobody could stay in front of him. His first
step was solid. Let's be realistic, man. I think he's the real deal. I think the league's pretty much known that for a few years now.
Right.
The quote unquote controversy with him and Brandon Ingram for the #1 pick. It's just general. It's just fatigue. When you see somebody over and over and over again, you start to pick them apart, and you start to try to talk yourself out of why this kid is the best player in the draft. Where I love Brandon Ingram, let's move on to him. But I love Brandon Ingram. There's some things that would concern me. I think you probably feel a little differently about him. I love him. I don't. But I see one issue. I'm always wary of one-trick ponies, and I'm not calling him necessarily a one-trick pony, but as a guy who at this point I see him as primarily a shooter. He's a jump shooter.
Right.
Those guys, while I think he can come into the league and get buckets, it's going to take him a while to find other ways to affect the team's ability to win. Right. He's really thin, and he's even thinner than KD was coming into the league. But I want to see how well he adapts to having other guys around him that need the ball.
Right.
And I want to see how is he a playmaker? I think he's going to be able to defend. I think you saw in the playoffs, in the series against Golden State, you saw Kevin Durant's evolution as a defender, him playing the 4, and then them moving Ibaka, which we'll get to, when we start talking about sort of the free agency and what Oklahoma City's done this offseason. But them moving Ibaka is an indicator to me that they liked what they saw with KD at the 4. You know what I mean? His ability to block shots, be disruptive, rebound his position. And I think you can see Brandon Ingram being the same kind of player down the road.
My main issue with Ingram more than anything is just the size, his weight. And we've seen skinny players. Skinny players can succeed.
Right.
My issue is early on, he's not going to be a dead-eye shooter. That's going to take a while. It just is. How is he going to finish at the rim? Oh, sorry.
Good.
How is he going to finish?
Good.
Is he going to be a player that initiates contact, or is he going to shy away from the contact?
Right.
Now, I see him with the Lakers. Like Randall can hit the 15-footer. So on offense, he can kind of pull the defenders out because honestly, I mean, like just like we said about Ben Simmons, the game is more 3 or 4 guys perimeter based and one, maybe 2 guys, you know, in the post or in the paint. You know, even as defenders, you know, this is going to be weird trying to guard this new wave of team. But he's so thin, man, and it's like, how long is it going to take for him to get an NBA body, and will that body last for 82 games? Like I see everybody saying he's Durant. No, he's not. Durant that 1 year in Texas. Besides Glenn Robinson's senior year, I had never seen a player that dominant for one full season in college.
Not offensively, no.
That wasn't Brandon.
He scored a will, and of course, you know, we had the added advantage. You know, we've been kind of seeing Kevin Durant get buckets.
Yes,
you know,
that's the name. That will always be his name. And since he was a baby boy, get buckets.
Right.
Now, can Shorty get buckets? We'll see. Because the Lakers need that. They need it. I don't know what they're gonna. I don't even know what they're gonna do in free agency. You know who they're gonna focus on.
Right.
They're gonna overpay for maybe a dead-eye shooter. They're gonna overpay. They're gonna definitely overpay for that. Now, do they want to go for a big guy? Do they want to go for a rim protector? You don't know. So the fact that you don't know puts more onus on him.
Right.
Now, I don't want the pressure. Like, you have D'Angelo Russell and you have Randall. And I think Randall can be an 18 and 10 type guy, especially with the Lakers. When Kobe not there, I mean, he can do that. This will be his second full season. Randall can do that. Randall's not a bum. Randall can boogie.
Yeah.
He's learning, you know.
Randall can play.
I would hope that I would hope Laker fans would hope Randall takes a leap to that stratosphere, to 17, 18 points, 10 boards a game. That will put less pressure on Brandon Ingram, and it will give him time to develop.
Yeah. So since we're talking about, you know, some of the top picks in the draft, there's a couple other guys I think we may want to mention, right?
Jaylen Brown.
Definitely.
Who went third to Boston. I got it on my phone right now, so I don't have to look at it on the computer. But
I'm going to call it.
You go ahead and
felt like a reach. Felt like a little bit of a reach. I love what Boston's been doing. Love the talent they've been putting together. Bunch of young guys. I think Brad Stevens is one heck of an NBA coach.
Hell of a coach. Top 5.
Yeah, when you watch them, their execution and little things out of timeouts and in short clock situations, they always get Wall star. Shout out John Wall. But they always find ways to get a good shot. And they had, the little guy, Isaiah Thomas, man. I know people doubt him, and for some reason, people still don't think he can be a number one guy on a good team. But that dude's got
how he went last in that draft, considering what he did at Washington. These GMs, man, we'll get on that later. But we'll talk about that later.
But back to Jaylen Brown. It felt like a little bit of a reach. I really thought they would do something. I thought they would go one or two ways. So I thought they would either figure out how to move, package a few and get a veteran. That didn't happen. There was some talk about Kevin Love. That didn't happen. That doesn't seem like that's going to materialize right now. And I also really, really, really thought they would go after Chris Dunn. Being a kid from up that, being a kid up that way, out of Providence. I did see some issues with maybe playing he and Avery Bradley together in the backcourt. What do you do?
And Marcus Smart too. They love Marcus Smart.
So you've got 3 guys that are all in that 6'3", 6'4" range that are all athletic, all can really strap up, really defend. But then, who's your who's your bigger guard, so to speak. And I think
Right.
right now we still think Chris Dunn is a point guard in the NBA. So I see why they went away from that. Jaylen Brown, man, from what I've seen of him, hyper athletic, really springy. I guess the question I have is does he know how to play yet? 19, he's really young. And again, on a Cal team that has some other talent that you look at, Ivan Rabb is a kid that I think, he's going to be a pro someday. But then
I liked Allen. I liked him more than I liked Brown this year.
Yeah,
from what I saw.
And when you watch them, there were a lot of games where you didn't see as much of Brown as you wanted to, where you see he has the ability to take over a game, but he didn't really get in gear. It seemed like that other gear hadn't kicked in. Now, that's not to say that can't happen at the next level. There have been guys, because here's the difference. They're the guys that you look at them in college and you wonder if they have the dog in them. And we all know what the dog is. And whether or not they'll pick that up on the next level. And then there are other kids that have the dog, but just haven't figured out how to pace and how to assert, when to insert themselves and how to assert their will on over the course of a basketball game. I think that's what I see with him. He'll learn how to shoot. He'll learn how to pick his spots and all that. But I'm just I want to see how he fits and how he makes decisions. I'm worried about him being a volume guy, and worried about some of the decision making. But I think he'll be able to play. And if he works out, his ceiling is as high as anybody in this draft. If he
it was definitely high risk, high reward with this pick.
Right, exactly. What do you think?
You know how I feel, Will. You know how I feel about these ultra athletic guys who can do a little of everything, but not one thing great.
Yeah,
you can go down the list. Perry Jones, those type guys. You can go down the list. Jeremy Lambs, all these guys. Like I won't say he rubs me the wrong way. I just didn't see it. But everything you said is correct. If he hits, and going to Boston may help him because they don't need him today. They don't need him maybe even next year. He has time. I mean, they have Drake Crowder, that he can play behind. And if he wants to have some dog in him, that's the person that every day in practice, that's the guy, Danny Ainge tried to get the pick, and at first I thought he was going to go for Dunn, but then I realized, they got Marcus Smart, they got Isaiah Thomas. I think they want to re-sign Evan Turner, depending on how much he wants, how much he'll get on the market. So I kind of understand why they didn't, but passing up Chris Dunn and drafting him, Danny Ainge is trying to find the superstar.
Yep.
And he was trying to use the third pick to get the superstar. Now, what I thought he was going to do is take the third pick, another pick, and package one of the guards, not necessarily Isaiah Thomas, but Marcus Smart, to get what he really wanted. And he didn't do that. So, I mean, it is what it is. He could make a pick like this because they're a team on the rise. They got a lot of bodies on their team. And second, they have Brooklyn's pick next year, which should be high lottery again next year. In a loaded draft.
Brooklyn's going to be really bad this year.
In a loaded draft, though.
Yeah.
Next year is loaded. This draft was shit compared to next year's draft. Next year's draft is loaded. Yeah. So I can see why he did it. I mean, if you want me to call boom or bust, I see more bust than boom. I just didn't see it. When you see it with certain people, I just didn't see it in him. I hope I'm wrong. I never want to see a bust, but I mean, it's the NBA draft, and out of every draft, you're going to get 3 all-stars at the most.
Maybe 3.
10 starters, 7 or 8 role players, and then the rest are gone within 2-3 years. That's just what it is. Yeah, that's the law of averages. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see.
So let's talk about so since we talked a lot about Chris Dunn, let's get to that pick. So Chris Dunn went to
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I love
First
it.
of all, can we say I think Minnesota's won the offseason? No, unless somebody does something crazy, maybe Golden State gets Kevin Durant or something like that.
Right.
But can we say, come on, man, they got Tibbs in the coach. You've already got, maybe the best potential projected big man in the league. Even more so. And here's the thing. We've been looking at Anthony Davis as that guy for so long that, at this point, man, you look at, can you look at Karl Anthony Towns, man, and he's projecting that, he's going to be that standard bearer as a big guy. So then you got Wiggins there. Wiggins doesn't have to be the guy. You got Zach LaVine, super athletic kid who's learning how to play. Ricky Rubio, who's a steady hand at the point. You got Gorgie Ding, who I love as a big guy. You got Big Pekovic.
He's what Ezeli, how people think Ezeli is. Jing is like a better version of him.
And he's a little more skilled. He's a little more of a skilled guy, pass it. Really solid court sense. So then you take Chris Dunn, who I'm going to say, I think personally, other than Buddy Hield, was my favorite player to watch in college basketball this season. Absolute competitor. Got the dog.
Yeah.
Got the dog. He's got that competitive thing going. He's got a little nasty to him. He's got enough cockiness, and come on, man, he trains with God, Sham God. That's enough for me. So somebody should ask me if he taught him the Sham God, and if he's got it down pat, if he's going to break it out in the league. But he's got great size, solid size for the to play the point at the NBA level. Solid shooter who's going to get better. I think for him, it's going to be, again, it's going to be decision-making, picking his spots. Is he a pure point, or is he just a lead guard?
But you know what? With Minnesota and the pieces that they already have, he doesn't necessarily have to be defined by a role. He could just be a basketball player. Because remember, they also had Shabazz Muhammad. And free agency and free agency is coming. So they're going to pick up some veterans on a wing. They're going to pick up a veteran probably to quote unquote tutor Wiggins at either the 3 or the 2. They got a lot of young weapons. And
with Tibbs, they're going to play defense.
Yeah, KG is still there to mentor.
Yep.
Karl Towns Jr. and sky's the limit for that team. I wanted them to go after Mike Conley. We talked about that. I wanted that, but now they got done. They probably don't need to do that. Who could fit in Minnesota, and it's going to hurt my team because I don't think we're going to resign him. Ramon Sessions can go there, and be he can go there and just score. Don't lose games. Play his 15, 20 minutes a night, and they'll have a nice 4-guard rotation.
Yep.
But yeah, Minnesota and they've won the offseason so far, and the offseason ain't even started yet.
Yeah. So we skipped over somebody. Let's talk about Dragan Bender.
I know nothing about Bender
now
except for highlights,
and I think that's important because I think that was a recurring theme through this draft.
Oh, yes, it was.
Now you want to talk about a drinking game? If somebody took a shot for every time somebody's name got called and you said who, you'd be comatose by the end of the first round, probably. I do think because, and we talked about this. I think the NCAAs, the college ranks have been kind of strip mined over the last couple of years, because to be realistic, the top talent comes in, They know I got to do this 1-year internship, and then I'm off to the pros for the money. And now you don't have sophomores, juniors, seniors.
Right.
So I think we got caught sort of in a gap where there weren't as many sort of high level prospects. And there's been so much focus on Ben Simmons for so long. This has been the Ben Simmons draft for 3 years now.
For 2-3 years, yeah, definitely.
So I think now, but to be fair, Dragon Bender is a kid that we've been talking about for a while too. He showed well at the Hoop Summit a few years ago. He's been on the radar since then.
Right.
And I will say, from what I try to do a little homework and see him a little bit. He's got great size. He kind of reminds you. He's got that. I hate to say this. He's Porzingis-ish in what he appears to project as at the NBA level. And I think Porzingis' success.
Because he had Porzingis' dog in him. That was one of the things that impressed everybody about Porzingis when he came in. Is that he didn't give a shit, man. He just hooped.
He just balled. So the question would be about Bender. He's going to be on a Suns team with a lot of young talent. I like what they've done. I don't like their backcourt. That's another conversation.
It's way too many. It's way too many pieces way too many of the same pieces.
Exactly. They've got 3 of everything, and it just doesn't quite work. So Bender's going to play a lot. They're going to
think he's going to play a lot.
They're going to play fast.
You think he's going to get a lot of burn because they're still trying to get something out of Lynn, Alex Lynn.
Yeah. Shout out to my Terps. Wish he was still there.
And shout out to Kentucky because it's 5 of them on that team.
That's right, Archie.
Archie, Tyler Ulis.
Bledsoe. That's right. Didn't one of the
Brandon Knight, and Devin Booker, my guys.
Yeah,
all my guys.
So when you look at Bender, man, I think when you look at what he projects as, if he can shoot it the way they're projecting, if he can knock it down 18, 20 feet at the NBA level, maybe stretch it out to 3, he looks like the quintessential stretch 4. So, we'll see.
I was waiting for that turn to finally hit today. Quintessential. That's it.
Quintessential. All right, let's keep moving. Who do you want to talk about next? Can we get to the alert?
We gotta speak on Buddy.
Speak on the alert.
Yeah. Yes, Buddy Hield alert. Major key. He was the first major key of college basketball this year. Shout out to Khaled because we made up our own term. Buddy Hield alert. And when it was time, that text went flying. It was that time.
Mm-hmm.
Watch that boy Boogie. I love the fact that he was there at New Orleans. I think that was a perfect spot for him.
Really?
Yeah, because it depends on if they re-sign not Gordon but Ryan Anderson. Because if they re-sign Ryan Anderson, that means that his shooting won't be the end-all, be-all for that team. Because they're not going to re-sign Gordon. Gordon's going to be gone. So they're going to need someone else. But if you re-sign Ryan Anderson, and Ryan Anderson plays his 30, 35 minutes a night like he should, he'll be the designated shooter. Now, if he leaves and then he is the guy that is forced to be the guy that spreads out the defense, that's going to make it difficult early. He can score, man. I mean, I think eventually his role in the league will be a 6-man extraordinaire. On a good team, he'll be a starter on a sorry team or a playoff team, but on a great team, he'll be the 6th man. And so won't nobody be able? No, there's no second unit that will be able to stop his buckets. So
yeah.
I like the fit with him there. Can Alvin Gentry fucking coach though?
I think that verdict is still out, to
Can
be
he?
honest. I don't think if we know. I don't know if we
Can
know
he
that
get
yet.
the most out of him? You know.
Can I rant for? Can I got 2 rants about this Buddy Hield and
Major
New
rant.
Orleans thing.
Major
The
rant
first
alert.
rant, major rant alert. First of all, shout out to Monty Williams. Definitely, condolences to him on the loss of his lovely wife. Potomac High School, Prince George's County alum, Notre Dame alum, one of the greatest players to ever come out of the Washington D.C. area that we really don't talk about as being a great player. He used to get buckets back in the day, but I don't know why you fire a coach who had gotten this team to the playoffs with a hurt Gordon. You got a partial season from Anderson. You got you may or may not have Drew Holiday during that time. And you as an owner, you just get, impatient and you move on from this guy. So that's my first rant. There's no reason why he's not still coaching this team. That blows my mind. The second thing, I think the NBA has gotten to the point where, I think the NBA should be sued for age discrimination. Because anybody that's over the age of 20, we think something's wrong with them if they're still
You know what?
in college.
That's a hell of a point, man. And we're gonna get on that. I got one more guy we need to talk about, and you already know who that guy is. So go ahead, continue.
I know who that guy is, and it actually plays into my point here. For a lot of the season, Jamal Murray was talked about as the first guard off the board because we love him. He can do it, but this is the thing. We saw Buddy Hield for a few years. We saw, Chris Dunn for a few years, and we looked for reasons not to draft him. Overthinking. Overthinking. And here's what's so crazy about it. You're going to draft somebody based on potential versus the guy that I've seen do it for multiple years. We've seen Buddy Hield getting buckets. We've seen Chris Dunn boogieing. And we try to find reasons. So I'm glad that some logic finally won out, and these guys did end up going in the lottery. Because I think, and then before the draft, there were these crazy comps, comparing Buddy Hield to Jimmer Fredette.
You can tell some people just don't watch basketball, man. They just don't, man. And sometimes,
Their only comp is that they're both shooters. They're both volume shooters. But let me tell you this. Buddy's going to be able to get his shot. He's going to be able to get shots at the NBA level. He doesn't have great size. He's going to need to expend. If he's going to play 30, 35 minutes a game, he's got to expend a little more effort on defense. I need to see a little more there, but he competes. I need to see him stay in front of his guy a little better. But he will be able to knock down shots at the NBA level.
Step back.
He'll knock down shots. Crafty. He'll find ways to get buckets. And when you see a guy in big situations, when Kobe Bryant, the Mamba himself, says a kid has Mamba blood, he's got, you know what I'm saying? He's got Mamba blood. He's got the Mamba mentality.
Man, that step back is mean. That's an NBA ready move right now.
That's an NBA shot. And here's the thing. So you get in the league one of two ways. Either super athleticism with potential and upside, or an extraordinarily well-defined skill. And he's got one extraordinarily well-defined skill. Now, I don't know if Buddy Hield's taller than me. I'm 6'2". I don't know if he's taller than me for real.
But they say he's 6'4", 6'5".
Buddy Hield will get buckets. They call him 6'4", which means he's probably 6'2". I didn't see the combine numbers and anything, so we can check that. But my point is, regardless of the size, regardless of, he's 22. He's not 40.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he's going to be able to play. He's going to have some years, but he's going to be able to get buckets day one. He's a guy that you can put on an NBA floor, and he will find a way to put up numbers. I promise you.
I totally agree. Totally agree 100%. Major stamp. Major stamp.
All
right, so
all right, man. I know you want to talk about your guy, Mr. Canada.
Well, he can get buckets, man. He can score, and I'm not even thinking about what he did at Kentucky. I remember last.
We're talking about
I'm not even. All I know is when I watched him play with Team Canada in the Goodwill games last year, he stood out, and he was the youngest player on the floor. And I kept saying, this Bama can flat out get to the bucket, and he a shot maker. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of a much, much better Miles Simon.
You think he's a much better Miles Simon?
Miles Simon couldn't get his shot off in the league.
I love Miles Simon. Shout out to Miles Simon. Miles Simon was
my guy too. He stole a championship from us. We would have won 3 in a row.
He did.
But he couldn't get his shot off in the league. That's why he flamed out so fast.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray does a lot of the things that he did well, but he can make it translate in the league. I'm telling you,
he does a lot of things Miles Simon did well, but he does them fast.
That too. That's a skill. You know how we talk about effort and hustle. That's a skill, and that's one of his skills. Now, he needs work defensively, of course. No one's a finished product at 19, but Shawty can flat out score. You put up almost 23 points a game from February on a Coach Calipari team.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, sometimes numbers don't lie, and he was getting buckets. Now, the game we lost in the tournament to Indiana, he didn't have a great game at all.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not make one game a total indictment of what he could be. Is he the greatest athlete? No.
Right.
Does he have handles out there? No. But for what he does that very well. I think Denver got a solid player on their team. Now he'll be running with the kid Moutier and Gary Harris.
I love
and I like Gary Harris.
What does he mean for? What does this mean for Gary Harris? I was curious about
that. I want them to battle it out for that spot to get the best out of each other. I think Gary Harris.
Yeah,
I loved Gary Harris at Michigan State. And I don't want to say his first 2 years have been a disappointment because he didn't really start playing until this year, but somebody needs to push him for that job. He shouldn't just have that job just because.
And you know what? Denver's loaded at guard because they still got Will Barton who put up numbers last year. The young shout out to B More Youngin. Will the Thrill. He got it done. So he's another piece who's going to be in the mix for them. But yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, man. You are the quintessential Kentucky fan, D.
That I am.
So I yield all things Big Blue Nation. But
I'm
thoroughly watching Jamal Murray. I watched them. I was on my honeymoon. No, not on my honeymoon. I was on my anniversary trip. We were in Puerto Rico, and we watched. I was actually in my room.
Yeah.
I was watching some of those games, man, and just seeing him take over at the end of games. There was one game in particular where just at the end of the game, man, he just took over at the end. He just took over, late in the second half and dragged his team kicking and screaming to a W. They tried to give it away. So
I was impressed, man. I was impressed more for what I saw in Team Canada than I saw in Kentucky, and I watched 90% of the Kentucky games this year. I mean, he can flat out do it, man. And I like the fact he's at Denver. It won't be a lot of pressure on him. Again, Moutier is their guy to be their star. He would just be the complimentary piece. To hopefully run with him. So I like him there.
The other thing I do like, and I'll say this before we move on. I like him next to Moutier,
right?
Because Moutier is still developing as a shooter, but Moutier has great size at the point. Defensively, he gets after it. He's still learning, takes too many risks, but he gets after it defensively. And I think him and a guy like Jamal Murray, who can knock down shots, who's going to defend and make smart plays. It'll allow Mudiay. It'll take away some of the playmaking burden from Mudiay, which will cut down on some of his mistakes in terms of decision making offensively. And I could see the two of them together being a great backcourt. They've got, when you got four guards that can all do multiple things, that's, it seems it's nerve wracking, but that's a good problem to have, I'd say. So
yeah, definitely.
Shout out to young Jamal Murray.
Definitely.
Can we talk? I think we need to have a Canada hoops podcast at some point.
Yeah,
we got to talk about this Canadian hoops.
Yeah, for the last 5 years, they've been Canada. Yes,
Tristan,
you're okay with
Tristan,
me.
Corey Joseph,
Yeah, except for
Wiggins,
except for our guy Anthony Bennett. I mean, Canada's been doing.
That's our guy.
Yeah, that's gonna still be my guy, man. I still got hope for him, man.
I think he'll end up in the league. I still think he'll find his way back. I said that when we did the bust article. Check that out on citlr.com.
Yes, please do.
But I think he'll find his way back to the league. So you want to move on? What's next?
Yeah, I kind of want to wrap up the draft real quick, and so we can get into this free agency. We got to talk about Thon. Yeah.
How old is he?
They saying on NBA Reddit said he was 23. But again, does that really fucking matter? Excuse my language. If you get 5, 6, 7 years out of a player anyway, that's a good draft pick. So why does it matter if he's gonna be 26 when he's an unrestricted free agent or when he's 30 when he's an unrestricted free agent? Does it fucking matter? It doesn't, not to me.
Well, I think so. Normally, and this ain't me backtracking off what I said about Buddy, but with a dude like Thon, the one thing that sticks out about his age is when you look at his package and how finished of a product is he. That's more attractive if he's 19,
right.
If he's 23. Now, when you consider the fact he's been dunking on 6 foot, 6'1" dudes for the last few years, you want to see what he actually does against real competition on a consistent basis.
I hope he isn't 23. I hope he isn't.
And can you coach him up?
Yeah.
But can we talk about Jason Kidd? First of all, Jason Kidd is still one of my favorite point guards to ever play. I'm glad to see him on the
top 5. Love that guy.
But can we talk about him as the risk taker? Because Thon would have been, Thon was projected. I saw a mock draft a few weeks ago. He was projected like 25.
Yeah, bottom first round. Bottom first round.
To grab him at 10, what do you think he saw? What's he thinking?
He sees the dunking on kids and the potential. I mean, the potential of a star. Like, he has star potential. But if we knew his exact age, him being a 10th pick wouldn't be an issue. It wouldn't be an issue at all if you knew his exact age. So I'm guessing Jason Kidd said, "Look, I don't know. I'm gonna have at least 3 years with him. At least I'm gonna see what I can get." And then they're trying to get rid of Greg Monroe. The MCW experiment is almost over. They're trying to move Giannis to the 1. I don't know how that's gonna work for a full season. We see the type of players that they want. Tall, lanky.
Right.
Super athletic guys. Super athletic. So I see the vision. Will it?
Don Hansen.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, they got a lot of them on their roster. And Chris Middleton, the deadly knockdown shooter that he is at the 3. Absolutely. But I guess he just
Jabari.
yeah. It's like you forgot about Jabari,
Crazy.
who played
Crazy.
very well towards the end of the year. Played really well.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know what he can do. It was one thing when he got drafted. I mean, we all jotted down 20 and 10, 20 and 10. That's just what he's gonna be. Melo Jr. Jr.
Yep.
So, man, I'm a fan of Thon, man. Just from what I saw, it's definitely not many guys with that makeup. So, I would love for it to work, But again, these tall, lanky can do everything well. We don't even know what he can do well, honestly. Maybe he wowed him in workouts. I don't know, but we'll see, man. I mean, from I haven't seen somebody rise from low first round to 10. I can't recall somebody jump those many spots. I've watched every draft since 1989. Honestly, that's how long. Yeah, I mean that's how long. I mean, I can't think of anybody. Well, we've seen people drop, but I've never seen somebody rise. And that was like consensus. That wasn't just like one mock draft we saw that he was bottom first round. That was the consensus from everybody. And it was amazing rise, man. Good for him, man. Hopefully he can live up to it, man, because that's gonna be a lot of pressure. Because everybody would say the same thing. They could have got him later. So I thought that he would go to. I thought he would go to a playoff team.
Yep.
And be able to sit and give you spot minutes here and there. Then he'll be able to grow. But I mean, we'll see, man. Unfortunately, as a Wizards fan, I don't want it to work because if it works, then we're going to have to deal with that. It's another team, man. It's another team. All these teams drafting well, but us. Moving on.
We'll do a pod on that later. I don't want to get mad.
Yeah, we'll do our own Wizards pod.
Yeah, there we go.
Stay tuned for that in the next couple days. Sick of them.
So before we wrap up with the draft, give me a sleeper.
My sleeper is. Let me look through the list. I mean, I want to say Tyler Ulis, but he got too many guards in front of him, and then I would look like a homer. So let me look at the list. I don't want to just say anything. So let me go down the list. I mean, Sabonis. I love Sabonis. I like Porter too. In the first round, I don't really see anybody in the first round. In the second round,
I got a couple. Tell you what, while you're figuring yours,
I wanna say Isaiah Whitehead because he's gonna get the chance to get minutes in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
He has no conscience. Isaiah Whitehead from Seton Hall. He go fill it. He go fill the basket. He go put it up. Now is he gonna be a Marshawn? What was Marshawn's last name? That played for the Nets. Yes. Providence. Is he gonna have his type of impact where he had a great first year and then fall off the map because he just had the green light?
The Nets kind of ruined him.
Man.
I think the Nets kind of ruined him. I think he'll have a chance, especially because everybody's gone. I don't think the book's closed on Marshawn. But back to Isaiah Whitehead, I agree. I think he's the guy who's going to be able to get buckets in the league.
I like Slump, man. I see him having a defined
and his projections earlier in the season were a lot higher than he ended up going in terms of his draft status. So
right.
So I'll give you mine. I really like Daniel Hamilton, man.
You do?
Really like Daniel Hamilton. Always did. And I'll tell you why. There's a certain thing. I'll give you an example. There was a dude when we were in high school You may have seen him play. Name is Dion Dove.
Yeah.
Played at Gwynn Park. And the one thing I always said about dude that everybody always said about him is that dude just made plays. When he's on the court, he's going to do something to help, no matter what. And the thing that I always saw about Daniel Hamilton, now he had streaky shooting games. There were some games where he was, scorching hot. He had games where he was cold. But at the end of the day, he always seemed to make plays to try and help that team win. And I would say that team, based on their talent, probably underachieved a little bit. But when I looked at Daniel Hamilton, man, he's got great size for an NBA wing. He probably needs to add strength, but who doesn't? After you've been, when you get to the NBA training table, and you get that per diem and you can eat well and properly and all that starts to change, right? But man, he knocks down shots when he's supposed to. He's got a nice little floater game. He competes on defense. He'll rebound his position. And you hear me say that a lot, but it's important because for you to be on the court, you got to be a threat offensively. People need to have to guard you. For you to be able to stay on the floor, you need to be, serviceable defensively or at least hideable. Shout out to Steph Curry. And you got to rebound your position. Mm-hmm. So he's a guy that rebounds his position. Because his draft.
He went to Denver, right?
He's another guy that went to Denver. Now, will he stay there? Probably not. I think he's a guy that's going to end up somewhere else. But he's a guy that I'll look at where we can look 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line and say, yep, that dude's an NBA player.
Yep. I liked him at UConn, and I don't like UConn, so it's hard for me to even say that I like him. But he stood out, man. And like you said, the team underachieved, and I think that was more so the guard play, point guard play. But they turned it on late. They had some great comebacks late. He was a part of that, man. He was a big piece of that. So, yeah, definitely. And then at Denver again, I mean, that's still a young team, even though they have guys there. He will get a shot, man.
Yeah,
he'll get a shot.
Show what he can do. All right, you ready to move on?
Yeah. Let's get to it. Free agency starts on, when is the first? Saturday?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? So the number one free agent, obviously, Kevin Durant, aka Get Buckets.
Wait.
And
you mean it's not LeBron James?
Yeah, he's probably mad that he isn't since he wasn't MVP this year. He's probably mad that he's not considered the first, top free agent.
Everybody knows. And by the way, the first is Friday.
Okay, so Friday. Okay, everybody's going up in arms. Wizards Twitter is going crazy and totally disappointed that Kevin Durant wouldn't leave a team that should have won the NBA title this year to come home to DC. I, on the other hand, yes, I'm disappointed, but I don't blame the kid. Why would I come here? There's no reason to.
Right.
There's really no reason to. I mean, would I love to purchase a authentic Kevin Durant jersey on July 2nd? Yes, I would, but it just doesn't. First, it doesn't even make financial sense. Sign his 2-year deal, player option after 1.
Yep.
So he can make more money.
Yep.
At the end of the day, yeah, he can go meet all these teams. None of that shit matters. He wants to be wooed, and that's fine. He's never been wooed before. Because remember, last time he signed his deal like a year before his restricted free agency. So he didn't take any trips. He just signed it and put it on Twitter that he signed his new deal, So if he wants to be wooed, that's fine. I mean, good for him. Take some free trips, get some free I don't know where that came from.
That was me.
But Yeah, get some free meals, you know. Let them woo you, let them wine and dine you. Get some free jerseys and call it a day. Let's talk about some players who may actually move because I don't think Durant's moving anywhere. Do you think he's going anywhere?
I'll say this. I don't think he is. However, I think if he does, there's only two choices.
Golden State and San Antonio.
No, I think he either goes to Golden State or he stays in Oklahoma City. I think those are the only choices. Nothing else makes sense. He wants to win.
Yeah, it's funny because when that rumor was just a rumor, people was like, "Man, ain't no way he going to Golden State." Man, there's no fucking way, man. That don't even make sense. But the more and more you watch the playoffs, it started to make sense, you know. And Bomani Jones made a excellent point in one of his podcasts. He was like, "Look, yeah, all of that team camaraderie shit means a lot. It does, you know, but one of the top 5 players in the league, top 3, that you'll make it work."
Absolutely.
You'll make it work, especially at a position where you're going to lose your starter anyway. If you get him, you're going to lose that starter. It isn't like that starter is going to be on the roster, you know, so he's going to take those minutes and everything else will work itself out. So if he goes to Golden State, man, whew. So Golden State was 5 minutes away from being a 2-time champion, man. That's what people totally fail to realize. All these memes and sass in Golden State, they were 5 minutes away, man, from winning being 2-time champions while playing below average basketball.
Yes. So I think the thing, I agree, by the way. I do have to take a bit of an opposite position though. If I'm Kevin Durant, right, I'm recognized number 1 bucket getter on the planet.
Right.
Still, in my mind. When it comes to putting the ball in the basket, it's him and Melo and the Splash Brothers.
Right.
When it comes to just getting a bucket, right? And I think Kyrie's got to get in that conversation, by the way.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Kyrie is stamped his supreme bucket getting it-ness.
Yes.
In the finals, because he was making some unbelievable shots. Left hand, right hand.
Right.
Yeah. I hate to admit it, but I'm a basketball fan, man. I don't hate him.
Yeah.
I hate the Cavaliers.
So KD in Golden State. So that means you've got Steph, Clay, you get KD at the 3, Draymond at the 4, and probably Ezeli at the 5 because you're not going to be able to afford anybody else.
Bogut.
It's Bogut, but I feel like they may not. I feel like Bogut's a free agent.
He is?
He may be expired. I could be wrong. But, okay, then let's say he's staying. You keep Bogut.
Man.
I mean, first of all, that team isn't fair.
Unfucking fair. Man.
And they would just probably outgun every team in the league. But
unfair.
There's still something about it. It's still something. Well, no, let me take that back.
It's like they're cheating, man.
Yeah. and
it's like they cheat.
And I really don't see KD doing that.
Yeah, because remember when you know everybody was trying to sign with the Knicks and everybody was signing with Miami. He put that tweet out there. He was like, "Man, what's wrong with going? Everybody wants to sign with the Lakers. Let's go at these peoples, man." I hope he still has that same dog in him.
Right.
Like him signing with Golden State would show me that he just doesn't have that in him anymore. But we've seen it countless times though that players just as loyal as they are, they just get fed up by losing. I mean, we saw it with LeBron, yeah. He did so much and just got tired of losing.
Yep.
KG was loyal to a fault.
To a fault.
Got tired of losing.
Too long.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, he was able to win a chip his first year,
right.
You know what I'm saying, when he left and went to Boston. But he almost didn't get his shot. You know, the stars had to align for that to happen, you know. So if he was to leave, maybe he's just feeling that way, man. I mean, I'll never discredit a guy for wanting to chip, you know.
Absolutely.
And I'll never discredit
I wish I could chip.
I know, man. Yeah. I want some players to come and talk amongst themselves and then say, yeah, let's go to DC and make it happen, you know. So
oh man.
Yeah. I want that to happen, but it just seems like it'll be the perfect 2K trade, you know, like let's put Durant on Oklahoma. I mean, put him on Golden State. I can score 140 points in a 5-minute game, you know. Just that's what it seems like, man.
So KD may leave. I'll tell you who I could really see leaving.
Can I guess?
Somebody like it. You want to take a guess?
Yeah. Al Horford.
Yep.
Al
Horford. Now, I'll tell you why I mentioned it, because Oklahoma City is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
If you plug Al Horford into that Ibaka hole, that changes things for them.
Wow. I know. It fits so perfectly, too.
So
it fits so perfectly.
So he's a guy. He can knock down shots. He's extended himself out to three. I think he's now to be honest, I don't think he's a huge upgrade over he's not a huge upgrade over Ibaka, but he's enough of an upgrade that I think he's a little rougher, a little bigger,
playoff tested,
you know, more experience carrying the load. Definitely,
he's an all-star.
Got that dog in him.
He's an all-star. Period.
Yeah. So I think
today,
I think he could be a great fit for them.
It sounds so perfect. That West. I mean, that West is just. I mean, this free agency period is going to be crazy, man, because so many players. You know, Joakim Noah is going to change just his presence on some team is going to help out big time.
Now here's my hot take. Hot take alert.
Hot take alert.
Hot take alert. So let's talk about the guy that I think could have the biggest effect on a franchise's fortune this offseason, say besides a Kevin Durant.
Can I guess?
Go ahead.
You said the biggest. Now this is just free agency, not trade.
Just free agency.
Let me guess. I want to say Dwight Howard, but
he would be number two.
Mike Conley.
He's on that list too, but not him. I want to get to him though.
Me too. Definitely got to speak on Mike Conley.
Want to get
Chandler Parsons?
Want to get to him too.
Okay. Well, none of those worked. I'm going down the list. Hassan Whiteside?
Nope.
Wow. Just go ahead and say it, man. I already made 4 choices, man. So.
Nicholas Batum.
Yeah. Somebody's going to pay him the max too.
Someone's going to throw him the max. Now
he's going to get that bag.
He's going to get that bag. Now is he the best player on the good team? No. Is he the second best player on the good team?
Probably not.
But if he's your third best player, and I'll tell you
can win.
And I'll tell you where I want him.
DC.
I would love. Well, if we could get him here, I would take him in a heartbeat. But I don't think I haven't heard any discussion. I haven't seen anything, so I don't know if that's in play. But I'll tell you where I think he would be an absolutely perfect fit. He'd be a great fit in DC too, by the way. I think he'd be great. He'd be great for the Clippers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He can space the floor. He can defend. Again, another guy who can take the playmaking burden off of CP3 some.
And somebody definitely needs to be able to do that for that team, because I think CP it burns out late in the year.
Well, you know what I always say about them. I always say that team can't win because they need CP3 to score too much.
Right.
They need his buckets in the clutch too much versus him being a facilitator, which is his best value to that team. But you mentioned Hassan Whiteside. I want to talk about him.
Future Laker.
I think so. I agree. He's got Laker, and I'll go here. My biggest question about him is when he finally gets paid, how will he react?
Right. He's already living the life down in Miami. If you guys are a follower of DJ Khaled Snapchat, as I am, you've seen Hassan Whiteside at plenty of parties with Khaled.
And he's been playing on
and that's on a minimum deal. So imagine,
you put him in LA, man. He's a guy, and I love his story, love his perseverance. Dude was bagging groceries, playing at the YMCA. He goes from that to, affecting playoff games for the Heat. So I love where he's come from, but I'm concerned whether or not he'll continue to, keep that same intensity. But let's even go. Let's get more analytical. Defensively, man, is he going to learn rotations? Is he going to be a little smarter with his choices in terms of what shots he goes after and how he alters?
Is he going to still play? There's a such thing as playing selfish defense, and he's a guy that's going to play selfish defense.
Right. So is he just going to hunt blocks, at the expense of being in the right place? And that's what I want to see, especially on a team like the Lakers. Just like you said, they're going to have Brandon Ingram. Let's say if you got him, you're a pretty long team. Jordan Clarkson is still there. He's still, even though he's not a really tall guy, he's about 6'5", but he's got a pretty nice wingspan.
Randall at the 4.
Camera phone shorty at the 1.
Yeah.
So let's see how this all plays out for them. But then you said Dwight Howard. What is?
I read an article today. And one of the guys on one of the Wizards websites that I look at was trying to make, the point that we should sign Dwight Howard. And I instantly clicked that red X up top, man. I was like, really? No.
Nope.
I would rather the Wizards not spend at all this offseason than to force the Dwight Howard thing onto this franchise and to this fan base. I would rather just. I have a feeling that Ernie Grunfeld is like a kid with money in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
The money be burned in his pocket, man. He got to spend it somehow. Next thing you know, he'll end up with $20 worth of candy. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you spending $20 worth of candy? You know what I'm talking about? You know how it is with little kids, man. Yep. They always want to buy candy with their money, man. You go spend $20 on candy. That's I could see it, man. It's like you would do that, because I don't see a playoff caliber championship contender paying Dwight Howard close to max money.
No.
And I got a feeling he's going to go where the money is more than anything. He just seems like that's the way he's going to go.
So you know what? I think, unfortunately, the best move for him would be to stay in Houston. I think
You think?
I think that's the best place for him. If he's not going to like New York or somewhere like that, he may as well just stay there.
Right.
You know, you got a guy where as long as James Harden is there, you won't have to be the guy. If they could ever find a point guard that could, you know, stay upright for a whole season, they'd win.
Yeah,
They'd win.
When they picked up Tyron Lawson, man. I thought that was a shrewd move.
I thought
and my guys,
he and James Harden are such a bad fit together.
Yeah, my guys. I mean, he fell off the map, man. I mean, Ty Lawson 2 years ago was a borderline all-star.
Yep.
To now,
he was in that second group of guys.
Hey,
you know, but
it's just.
But I think so. So I've come to a conclusion because we watched Dwight Howard now. What? It's been 12 years. 2004 draft.
Uh-huh.
And let me just say, I'm not the dude. You know, we're just two guys. This is my opinion, and I'm always careful about, you know, media guys making character judgments about players. Because I'm like, man, you don't really.
But we're media guys, so judge on, buddy.
So I don't get the impression that he loves basketball.
Oh, I think that's a known fact. I think he just played it because he was big and he was good at it.
He's super talented, man. I don't get, you know, a dude like Kobe. And you know what? No, I'm not using Kobe because I'm tired of us trying to we can't compare people to Kobe.
Can't compare everybody to Kobe.
Kobe's a different one. But you know, guys like that, a CP3, that dude just loves to play basketball. Kevin Durant, man, you got to drag that dude off the court. Right. Dudes just love to play basketball. And that's why every season when you see them, when the season starts, there's something new. There's a new trick, a new wrinkle, a new skill. Even though I think he's the best basketball player breathing air, one of the shocking things to me is that after 13 years, LeBron James still is not a pure knockdown jump shooter. I think I know why, but that's another conversation. But Dwight Howard is a guy that I'm looking at. I'm like, yo, year after year after year, you know, you start to see the makings of a post game, you know, a nice little reliable jump hook, nice little reliable, you know, kind of floater put back thing. He has some nice up and under stuff that seemed like that was buttoned, but then it just kind of went away. Now, granted, he's playing with James Harden, and James Harden's he's two option guy. He's either going to shoot it or he's going to shoot it. But I don't see the evolution in him. And at this point, he is who he is. He can still dominate games. He can still change. And when he's locked in, he still might be the best defensive center in basketball.
Right.
I think that's fair. DeAndre Jordan is great. Love Hassan Whiteside, but the brow is phenomenal. But I still think D12 is still right there as the best defensive center in basketball among those guys. So I think he's probably, you know what? I don't know where he's going to go. I know somebody's going to overpay him and they're going to regret it. I know that.
You know who I want the Wizards to overpay? And the more and more I've been thinking about this, I want it to happen. I want them to overpay for Chandler Parsons, man.
So let's talk about this.
Yes. Let's do this.
Let's talk about this.
I want him in a Wizards uniform, man.
Tell me why.
He's 6'9", but he's a 3. 6'9", 3. So now you have a 6'9", 3, and you have a 6'8", 6'9" stretch 4. They kind of they could each other, you know, and He can run. And he hasn't been put in a position to run in a while.
Yep.
You put him with Wall and Beal
Oh yeah.
to run. He's very creative too. He's not just a spot up shooter. He can put the ball on the floor.
Yep.
He can finish at the rim with authority. And he's a tough guy, man. And we talk about the age thing. He's not old. Chandler Parsons can't be but 26.
Yeah.
He's only in his 4th or 5th year. Remember, when he left Houston, he had only did 2 years in Houston.
Yep.
So this is only his 5th year in the league. So you could pay him, and he'll be a young vet. The last time we paid a young vet, it was Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah.
That was the last time we paid a young vet.
That makes me sad.
And I'm not saying he's Gilbert Arenas, but imagine you have Bill signed for 5 years, Parsons signed for 5 years, Wall signed for another 4 years, and a capable coach.
A capable coach. That's big.
A capable, not a below bottom of the totem pole coach, but a capable coach. John Wall and Bradley Beal haven't been coached properly yet in the NBA.
Correct.
They just haven't. I mean, for all of the good things that Randy Whitman brought to the team, because he did bring some solid things. The team started to play defense, and they actually liked him, and that matters a lot in the NBA, man. They actually liked playing for him, but couldn't coach offense for shit, man. John Wall is a perennial all-star, should be all NBA level talent, and he hasn't even been coached yet, man.
Hot take alert.
Think about that.
Hot take alert. I've been saying for years, Kyrie's not better than John Wall. I stand by.
He's still not.
He's still not.
He's still not better than John.
And that's not a shot against Kyrie. John's that good.
Yes. In the 2K attributes, yes, Kyrie's scoring ability and stuff is higher, but everything else is John Wall. I mean, everything. There's not one other thing that he does better than John Wall.
So I agree. Hey, Ernie,
if you're gonna overpay,
I'm a season ticket
what you're gonna do.
I'm a season ticket holder. Listen to your fans.
Yeah.
If you
maybe I should send this John to Ted's send this to Ted's Twitter, man.
Yeah. I haven't renewed my season yet for this year. But if you get me Chandler Parsons, I'm in.
Man. It can happen, man. Thing is, everybody has money, so you will have to overpay.
And what I love about Chandler Parsons, you got to remember what he was at Florida. He was a point forward at Florida who didn't shoot a lot. He facilitated a lot. And he was a guy who's had to work for it. He was a second-round pick. He was an afterthought, a guy that busted his butt and found a way to play in the NBA, got stronger, got more athletic, found a jump shot, got more comfortable taking the NBA three without losing his playmaking ability. Clearly, he's a character guy. When you're the guy that they send to somebody's house to recruit you, he almost,
right.
Stole Dwight Howard. DeAndre Jordan from the Clippers. So clearly, he's a guy that gets along well with his teammates and all that great stuff. And hey, we can always use more character in DC.
Right.
So
we've been at this for a minute.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, we've been at this for a minute. Let's just go down a list with some guys. Let me pull it up on my phone. Do we think they're going to leave? Do we think they're going to stay? And if they are leaving, where would they go?
Okay.
And my first player on this list is your boy, DeMar DeRozan, your man. Shad's man.
Yeah, that's Shad's man. Is he leaving? I'm going to say yes.
I think he's going to LA.
I think he's leaving and he's going to LA. He should go to the Clippers, but he's going to the Lakers, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah. He said he wants to stay in Toronto and all that stuff. I'll until you sign.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Pretty much. Okay, we talked about Chandler Parsons. Paul Gasol, who's probably gone.
He's out.
Chicago. Where does he go? Back to Memphis.
He's another guy. No, but he's another guy that I can see in Oklahoma City.
That's a lot of Caucasian-y bigs.
He's Spanish, so it's a little different.
Caucasian-y.
I'll give you another place. He's a guy that you would think about in maybe a Houston
to take the spot of Dwight.
He's a guy that you would think about in Houston. He could go back to Memphis and play with Baby Bro. He and Zach could split time at the 4.
That's what I was thinking. They both on the tail end of their careers, so they can play. They can extend their life of their team.
I can see that.
So Bismack Biyombo,
he's gone.
Yeah, because somebody's going to be dumb and pay him.
Somebody's going to overpay him.
Yeah.
It's going to be somebody like Chicago.
Yeah.
Who's lost a lot, who's losing talent, who wants to, see, the problem is you got to pay somebody.
Yeah.
And when the cap's jumping $30 million. So everybody's got money to spend. I think like 25 of the 32 NBA teams have enough money under the cap to sign the max guy. So somebody's getting that money. You can't stop NBA GMs and owners from spending money stupid. So somebody's going to overpay him.
Yeah. I was going to say I saw him in Orlando. That was before Orlando made their trade for Ibaka.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking maybe someplace like New Orleans, maybe Brooklyn,
Yeah, Brooklyn.
Maybe even the Knicks, because now that they don't have Robert Lopez, they need somebody who can do that dirty work. He'll look overpaid, but for that role, don't expect any more from him. Let's see. We saw Ryan Anderson.
Gone.
He gone?
Golden State.
Ooh. That means no Durant then.
If Durant doesn't go to Golden State, Anderson. Stretch the floor, he can still board. When they got to play a little slower, he can help you with some of that grind. But the Golden State MO, they're going to keep playing the same way. Well, my hope is that they keep playing the same way.
Right. I will hope that a bad finals doesn't take away from what they've built.
73 wins,
and
Steph Curry made 416 threes.
Right. Keep doing what you're doing, right. Guys. Just play better.
Steve Kerr, do what you do. Keep doing what you're doing. Just rest your guys in the regular season so that they got some juice for the playoff.
Win more.
Yeah.
They don't want you to win. Just win more. Shit. Man. All right, let me go down the list one more. Marvin Williams.
I knew you were going to mention him.
He could help. I only mentioned him because I'm going down the Sports Illustrated list.
You're not going to like this. I'll take him here.
You know what? I didn't say you say I don't like it. I don't dislike it, especially because we're gonna need somebody. I don't want Gortat and Markieff Morris to have to play more than 35 minutes a night.
Yep.
And the roster is barren already. You could play Marvin Williams 25 minutes a night, and your team will run. I mean, it shouldn't lose that much of a beat. So I can see him here. I can see him here.
Knockdown guard.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't dislike it. He had a bad playoffs, but who cares? I mean, that happens. Sometimes bad matchups are bad matchups.
Yep.
So,
all right.
Let's get one more name. Harrison Barnes.
He's leaving. So every year, right? Somebody just walks around all season with a sign on their chest that says "Overpay me," and the winner this year is Harrison Barnes. Shout out to my man Jalen Rose. I don't agree that he cost himself any money with that no show in the finals. Like he should be marked absent from the finals.
You know what? His first 2 games in the finals was solid. And I was even saying that at the bar I was at. I was like, man, he was giving them like 14 points, 6 boards, 3 assists.
When Steph ain't Steph.
But then, man, he completely fell off the map. And you could see it in his face that he just wasn't there.
Yeah.
And that's concerning. That's
knew they weren't going in.
Yeah, that's concerning because wherever he's going to go, he's going to be asked to be more than the 4th option on offense.
Oh, he's going to be the 1st or 2nd wherever he's going because of the kind of money he's going to make. So, but the question is the question is where is he going?
It's got to be a team like, you know what? I keep saying the Knicks. And the reason I say the Knicks is if Jeff Hornacek plays basketball with that team that I think that what he will do, he will play Melo at the 4.
Yep.
If Melo's at the 4, Derrick Rose at the 1, and Biyombo at the 5, you could put Harrison Barnes at the 3.
Well,
you can do that. You can do that.
You can. I don't love it.
I don't love it, but you can do that.
But so
it's a lot of places. It's a lot of places where he can go that I'm not going to love anyway. I'm thinking about teams like Brooklyn and like teams that ain't really got no shot.
Clippers. They still have that hole at the 3, man.
Yeah, you've been talking about that. That's your that 3 for the Clippers
because it's been the only thing they've been missing consistently over the course of this run during the Doc years.
I could definitely see that now. Will they pay it because they already have 3 max deals?
We've already got 3 max guys, but Steve Ballmer's bag is extra secure.
Yes.
So
that bag is secure.
That bag is secured. So if there's anybody who could find a way to do it, it will be them. So I don't know where he's going to land, but that's one of the spots I think he would work out pretty well.
I can see that. Well,
I think that's all our time.
That was fun, man. Man, that's all our time, man. That was fun, man.
Fun. All right.
Hey, the first one, man.
First one,
my dude, man.
We had to do this again.
Yeah, the first of many pods on the Champagne in the Locker Room platform.
Yep.
And I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yep.
I am Diego.
I'm Scotty.
And we bid you adieu until what? We're gonna do what? The Wizards one next?
We'll talk about it. Maybe
stay tuned. Stay tuned alert.
Stay tuned.
My man.